And a good day, everybody. Jewel here with J7409 Weather. Today, of course, is Thursday, the 27th of June, 2019. And what's going to be happening? Well, I hate to tell you this, but we got thunderstorms, some containing severe weather and flash flooding. They're in the forecast across the northern tier of the United States, right on through all day long tomorrow too. All kinds of stuff is going on, folks. We're going to have this. We're going to check out the tropical weather and much, much more. All coming up on. Now, as we take a look at the GFS map this morning, let me turn it on, get it going for you, and you will be able to see what is going on. It's running a little ahead right now. We're just going to let it run right on through and it'll pick back up. But this weather, folks, this weather pattern over the next couple of days, it's like it's been being. It's consisting of an upper level low, and that low is going to persist over the Pacific Northwest, while a slow moving frontal boundary at the surface remains stretched across the northern tier of the country. Now we have showers and thunderstorms that are expected to form and focus along and near this front. And today we have an enhanced risk of severe weather. That's in place for the northern high plains, as well as a slight risk of excessive rainfall and flash flooding. I'll show you all of that coming up. Now, severe weather and flash flooding are also possible in the upper Midwest, where we have a slight risk of both hazards, and widespread rainfall amounts there are expected to be 1 to 2 inches with locally higher amounts. Now, severe weather and an isolated flash flood could continue. This severe weather and isolated flash flooding, it could continue right on into tomorrow for the northern high plains. So all you guys be aware, okay? Now, this same low is going to cause unseasonably cold conditions with high temperatures anywhere from 15 to 25 degrees below what the normal should be in Northern California and much of Oregon today. The highest elevations of the Cascades could see some more snow. Meanwhile, it's hot, hot, hot. Summer heat's going to prevail from the Continental Divide eastward, with high temperatures reaching the 90s as far north as the northern plains and the upper Midwest by tomorrow. Elsewhere, we have the southern tier of the country from the southern high plains to the southeast. Now, you can see scattered summertime thunderstorms and a few strong storms containing locally heavy rainfall are possible in the lower Mississippi and the Tennessee valleys today. Red flag warnings are also in effect for parts of the central Great Basin and Four Corners region, where fire weather conditions are very, very elevated. Now, as we take a look at the categorical outlook for severe weather today, we have a lot, folks. You know, I had one of my subscribers, I love him to death, from West Virginia, yesterday write me a note and said we had a tornado in West Virginia, which we hardly ever have. Well, remember how I tell you folks, anywhere in the green, it really doesn't matter what color it is. If these storms come through and your conditions are right, you can have a tornado. This is just where the most likely should happen. And as you can see right here on this map, it's looking like scattered thunderstorms capable of very large hail and intense winds and a couple of tornadoes are possible across portions of the west central into northeastern parts of Montana this afternoon, and this weather should continue through tonight. Other severe storms with damaging winds are going to be possible from southern Minnesota into a portion of the Great Lakes, as you can see right here on the map. So, and also down south around Mississippi and Alabama Also over in portions of the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma and in New Mexico. You guys have a good risk of some severe weather today. Anywhere in the green, though, do not rule out severe weather, ever, ever, ever. Now, as we move along the tornado outlook today, 5% in Montana, 2% in other portions of Montana, and it goes all the way to Wisconsin. When we look at the wind, severe wind up in Montana, we got at 30%, 15% in other portions of parts of Montana, North Dakota. Also, the wind should pick up in southern Minnesota or southeastern Minnesota, a large portion of Wisconsin, some of Iowa, and the very northern tip of Illinois. When it comes to the thunderstorm outlook, this is how it should start out in the afternoon. You know how it progresses. Look, lots and lots of places in the U.S. is brown. That's 10% chance of some severe thunderstorms that could happen. As the day goes on, this is what happens. The chances go up. The chances go up to 70% in parts of Missouri and parts of Oregon. That's 70% chance. 40% chance, you see where it's at? That's up in New York, and 40% in Florida, 40% in Texas, 40% for northern Idaho. I mean, you know, as the day goes on, the chances go up. So that's a check of your severe weather today. Everybody in these areas, severe hail can happen up in here. Be aware of what's going on around you. Check your skies. If they begin to start to change, make sure you have a safe place to go and you don't get caught out in severe weather. Now let's take a quick look at the temperatures, because some of us are going to be warm, some of us are going to be hot. I'm going to run this back to around 6 o'clock. Here we are this morning, and at this particular time I'm just going to turn it on and let it run through. My goodness, look at these temperatures. You can see where it's going to be so hot, and you can see where it's going to be kind of very, very, very chilly. Looking over to Oregon, you guys are going to be on the cool side. Washington State, up in the west northern sections of Canada, you guys will be cool, but then it's going to warm up for you coming up as the days go on in the week. So just handle this cool weather a little bit. In the meantime, it's going to warm up, as you can see, and just get plain hot for a lot of the U.S. And now, as we check out the tropical weather, we have Alvin. Yes, Alvin formed yesterday. Remember, I told you I thought it was going to form pretty soon, and yes, indeed, it has. There's nothing going on in the Atlantic. There's nothing going on over in the Central Pacific. This is the Eastern North Pacific where we have Alvin, and as of 3 a.m. this morning, Alvin had sustained winds of 60 miles per hour. Now, Alvin strengthened a little bit more than I thought it would, but I'll tell you why in just a moment. Now, the minimum central pressure is 999 millibars. If you're tracking it, 15.1 north, 111.9 west. Alvin is moving west-northwest at around 13 miles per hour, but should not be any harm to anyone at this time. Now, we do have some additional strengthening that's expected during the next 12 to 24 hours, while Alvin remains over the warm waters with low vertical wind shear. Now, I thought it would have moved past us by now, but it didn't. It slowed down. But by 36 hours, however, the combination of the cooling waters that Alvin's going over and the more stable air mass is forecast to induce steady to rapid weakening. Now, Alvin is expected to degenerate into a remnant low by late Saturday and dissipate by Monday. Now, this is the National Hurricane Center's intensity forecast. Is similar to the blend of the consensus models, the IVCN, the HCCA, and the FSSE. And you can see right now, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 65 is looking like what it's going to be its greatest strength. It really wants to try to become a hurricane, but it don't quite make it. But this could change, as we know. Now, it's looking like, though, that coming up and within 72 hours, it's only going to have 25-mile-per-hour winds, and by 96 hours, dissipate. So that's a check of your weather today. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you for your prayers for myself as well as my family. I appreciate that very much. Everybody have a good day, a safe day, a blessed day, and peace, love, and kindness to each of you. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this information.